Hey there, it's Waste Potential 616 back again. Not with a comic review, but well, basically I've been a bit broke and I haven't got around to getting any of my comics. So hopefully the comic book shop will keep them in my slot, and I'll get them when I've got a bit more dough. But I wanted to do a video, and watched Ghost Critics. Video comics and me's brief history, and so I thought I might just take a page out of his book and do the same. So it'll be much briefer, not as elaborate, but I don't know. Comics have always been a big part of my life. Well, I love them. I love its bits. I love the fantasy world of it all, just escaping into it, all the crazy characters. I mean, when I was a really small kid, there's photos of me dressed up as Spider-Man, and I would get sort of, Spider-Man annuals, which are like these big kind of reprints of various Spider-Man stories throughout the years. And also, when I used to go to the doctors and the dentist, they always had comic books in the waiting rooms. They were really tattered. I think people just donated them. But I remember reading quite a lot of Marvel Comics Presents, and there was some Dark Horse stuff as well. I remember there was a few Terminator and Aliens comics, and I was thought quite cool because the Aliens ones were, in my eyes anyway, pretty violent. I'm growing up, and I was only a kid at the time, so I think it slipped under the radar that there was some quite graphic stuff, like in the children's bit in the dentist or doctors. They both had it. I can't remember which one. But I never really got stuff regularly. It wasn't until I moved to America when I was about 10, 11. My mum had remarried to an American guy. It didn't work out, but it's beside the point. I was quite lucky at that time. X-Men had just come out on the Fox channel, and so I watched that quite religiously. And so I pick up comics here and there, and it was amazing to see comic book stores which I weren't actually aware of. I mean, there were plenty of comic book stores in England at the time, but just nowhere near where I lived when I was living in England. But anyway, when I was living in America, there were various comic shops and businesses every now and again to pick something up. But there was a mall I went to. Well, I used to go quite a bit. It was in Norfolk, Virginia. The road was called it's by the coast. Anyway, I used to go to this mall to play in the arcades, which was great. Anyway, I picked up issue X-Men 25. Now, if you're an X-Men fan, you might know this is the comic where Wolverine loses his adamantium to Magneto. And I remember reading this comic, and remember I was watching the X-Men cartoon at the time. I was reading this and I was like, oh my god, it's like Magneto is just, I mean, if you've ever read the comic, it's brilliant. It's a big part of Wolverine history. It's in it. The thing is with the comic, now, one of the big criticisms a lot of people say with X-Men and a lot of comics is, they're really hard to pick up because it's too confusing, there's too many plot lines, and you can't just pick up a comic book and enjoy it. That's bollocks, right? This was right in the middle of a crossover, Fatal Attraction. Well, it was right at the end, pretty much. And, a lot of the X-Men I didn't recognise. I saw Quicksilver in there. I was like, hey, isn't he in the Avengers? It didn't obviously the continuity didn't match up to the cartoon. Anyway, after reading this comic, I was like, I've got to find out what is going on. So after that, I started to get as many X-Men comics as I could. First off, I got all the Fatal Attractions storyline, which confused me even more because there were parts in X-Force, X-Factor, Excalibur, and it was all, different teams. I was like, oh, what would Kitty Pryde and Nightcrawler in Excalibur? Because I had a kind of knowledge of X-Men and Spider-Man and whatnot. I kind of had a loose knowledge of the history at the time. I was about 10, 11, something like that. But anyway, so I made it my mission to find out as much as I could. Around this time, I moved back to England. It was about 2 years I was living in the States for. And found a comic shop and just carried on, sort of, finding out as much as I could. Got X-Men regularly, so picking up Spider-Man, then getting back issues. It was a comic shop called They Walk Among Us, and it's a cool comic shop. They eventually moved after they got robbed. I think it was like £30,000 worth of comics got nicked. And semi-recently it actually changed hands. It's now called Ace Comics, not as imaginative as They Walk Among Us, but the previous owners aren't there, but some of the older staff there, and they're all cool and whatnot. Anyway, I think I'm just rambling a little bit now, but I think it was that X-Men 25 that really got me into it. And I stopped getting comics every now and again for financial reasons, but I can usually pick up, storylines. But I have thousands and thousands of comics, I've picked up over the years, trades. I remember going to Chicago, when I went to Chicago, I think it was about 13, 14, for a holiday. Stayed with some of my mum's friends that was pretty Chicago. They know their comics over there. Went into a comic book shop over there. Blew my mind. But yeah, comics, I love them. I'm even wearing a Joker dressing gown. That's my lovely girlfriend Tony got that for me. She even dressed up as Harley Quinn for me. For Halloween. Well, I dressed up as the Joker as well. But, yeah, that's good. Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah, comics, awesome, and as Ghost Critic would say, it's always good to chat to people on the internet with it about it. I'm not as dedicated to videos. I'm pretty slack. I'm not called Wasted Potential for nothing. Yeah. So yeah, I might as well sort of Ghost Critic copying you again. But just all subscribers and friends and that. It's all comics sometimes. It's cool. It's all good. Anyway, I've probably gone over my 10-minute limit now. I don't know how to make them longer.